Welcome, Team Grumble.
Welcome, Team Grumble. We are on alldigitalradio.com.
I know, it is the premiere of our brand new show, Beauty and the Grumble, right here on All Digital Radio. And David and I are so excited. I am Erika Othen.
And I'm David Palmer.
And we are Beauty and the Grumble.
Well, welcome. Let's start this thing off right away, shall we? Well, you know, Kate Gosselin, we got to talk about her. She has been so everywhere in the press since 2005. Looks like she's not going to be here anymore.
I know. Unfortunately, her show was canceled. She's been going strong for about 5 years now, and she's coming out to the press basically saying, I don't know how I'm going to be able to take care of myself. I don't know how I'm going to be able to feed my 8 children without this show.
I know. Really crazy to see this. But you know what? She's done. She has no talent at all. What? You popped out 8 kids?
That's a little bit of a talent, you know. I have to say, 8 children is a lot. They're definitely a handful. I believe that she had something like quadruplets or, you know, I'm not really sure how it is there, but she has 8 little ones running around. I think it's a good thing that she is off reality TV because she needs to stay at home and take care of those 8 children.
I know.
You know, she went on Dancing with the Stars. You know, she has all these nannies. She had the divorce. Who is taking care of these kids? I think it's a good thing that she's going to be staying home now.
No, I think it's great. You know, she is just, I don't like her. She's so weird. She's a mom that just, you know, she dumped her husband, first of all, for this fame. I think it's karma to hit her right back in the face.
Well, they didn't really have a healthy relationship. She was really strong, you know, willed. She was really negative with him. She kind of beat him up a little bit emotionally, gave him a hard time a lot. You saw a lot of that friction play on air. You know, and he kind of just seemed a little bit like a punching bag,
no, I know.
You know, and he just kind of took it. I guess he had enough, and then now he's dating all these young girls, and you know, it's all this drama, but I think it's a good thing. She needs to stay at home. Very little known fact, you know, she's actually an RN. She's a registered nurse, and that's what she did before all the reality show craziness. She should go back to that. I mean, you make a great living. You're helping people. She'll be able to support herself. I think she's just coming out into the press and saying, you know, what am I going to do? My reality show is canceled. She's trying to play the victim, and she's trying to make everyone feel bad for her, and in my mind, it's not working.
No, you know, RN stands for real nutcase, you know, and that's what I think she is. She's a real nutcase.
Yeah.
And her ex-husband saying, hey, guess what, girl? You got to get back to real life. I don't think this girl knows what real life is. I mean, 8 kids is probably not real life enough. Then having all this crazy stuff on TV, this girl's going to have to really like grasp the feeling that, you know, a 7-Up commercial ain't going to save her. I don't know anybody who's going to want to represent 8 kids that aren't little ones anymore. Remember, they're getting older now.
Well, you know, she definitely had a great thing going for her when she was on air. You know, they were paying, TLC was paying for her vacations. They were taking her all over. They were supporting her. I'm sure she got a pretty paycheck, you know, even just being on the show. What happened to all that money? You know, she needs to start cutting coupons and cutting the cost and stop living this lavish lifestyle and really go back to taking care of her children. That should be the most important thing. That should have always been the most important thing. And, you know, she needs to get off her high horse and get off the fame horse and just, like you said, David, come back to reality, be a mom.
Well, what is all about fame on TLC anyways? I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's like, are you famous for being a mom? Like, I mean, there's no talent there. I mean, you know what? I know a lot of better moms out there. Erika, your and I moms are way better than this mom is. I mean, she flies around with 8 kids and travels with them like they're just, you know, like little like bags of like stuff,
like little toys. Like little toys. She kind of treats her children like little toys a little bit. You know, it's hard to say because you don't necessarily know the dynamic of how she really is. But what's portrayed on air, I mean, she really doesn't seem like the greatest mom. She gives everybody a hard time. I heard that she's really mean behind the scenes. You know, she had issues with her dancing partner on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, you know, this lady is a little bit like a train wreck. You know, she seems like a real tough cookie. She's an attitude problem. You know, so I think it's a good thing because it's going to be a humbling experience for her, and she needs to get her priorities straight for sure.
Yeah, I know. You know, you can't buy Happy Meals for 8 kids every day and expect to just, you know, win it over. You know, I want to say we got the phone lines back up now that we're on alldigitalradio.com. So all you got to do is hit us up, 912-373-TALK. Pretty simple, right?
Easy number to remember.
912 373-TALK.
Yes. So now going from a story that, is a reality star that's not really doing so well, let's talk about reality stars that are killing it right now.
Yes.
And that is the Jersey Shore phenomena. Now, I have to say, it's like my guilty pleasure. I don't really like to admit that I watch it. When I'm here sitting at home in California, it kind of brings me back to my roots a little bit. Now, I'm not saying I'm a Guido or a Guidehead, but I feel like...
Are you? I'm just checking to make sure.
I promise everyone at home I'm not wearing a Snooki poof right now. But, I know those type of people. Growing up in Long Island, New York, I know a lot of the Ronnies and the Sammys and the, Snookies. Well, apparently the situation is back in the press, feuding with Abercrombie and Fitch.
And you and I called this one. He might actually win this battle against Abercrombie. I mean, you know what? It's all about, you want more people talking about you. You got Abercrombie and Fitch talking about you, now putting you on your shirts and putting you down. Guess what? He's going to put a stop to all this and come out the victor.
Exactly. The original story was that Abercrombie came out publicly and they offered the situation money not to wear their clothing anymore because apparently, he's wearing the cargo shorts and he's wearing the T-shirts with the arms ripped off.
That's such a Guido thing, the little cargo shorts.
Thing?
Yeah,
it's like a New York thing, I guess, but he was rocking it. It's free press for them, so what the hell do they care? But really, they're hypocrites because all their new shirts say Fitchuation and they say GTL, which is a Jersey Shore slang term, Sitch, or Fitch or whatever it is. So basically, they're jacking all of the Jersey Shore phrases and taglines and they're using them on their clothes, but then at the same time, they're telling situations, stop wearing our clothes.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I want to ask you a question. What's up with the drawstring at the bottom of the short? You know what I'm talking about? The little drawstring with that little plastic.
I know what it is.
The little plastic thing.
I'll tell you why they have that. You mean at the bottom of the pants for the drawstring shorts?
I got to grumble about that. Okay. That's one of my biggest pet peeves are those little things.
In my opinion, I think they put them there because, the juice heads, they take all the steroids and they go out and they work in the gym, okay? And they wear these little Abercrombie and Fitch shorts. But see, you can put all the work into your chest muscles and to your arm muscles and to your back muscles, but they have these skinny little calves. And they can't do anything about these skinny little calves. So they have the drawstring, so it makes their calves look bigger.
Oh, I thought they tightened it to get more veins to pop out to make it look more masculine too. Maybe. I don't know.
that might be it. I think that it's all like an illusion, to try to make them look bigger. It's like the skinny cargos.
I just never understood it, and I think it looks so weird. Like I've seen shorts that I almost bought. I was like, oh, but the little string at the bottom just looks so stupid.
I know. Well, they have some cute stuff. They're very the thing about Abercrombie and Fitch for me is no matter what mall you go into, no matter where you go around the U.S., as soon as you pass an Abercrombie and Fitch store, you might not see it, but you always smell it.
Yeah, no, well, they
have this scent that permeates through the hallways of the mall.
It smells like a manly scent, too.
I want to know what that smell is, and as soon, I'm like, and it, knocks you out. It is so strong. Where, are they sitting there spraying? I heard they spray the mannequins.
Well, when I went on a prom, right before I went on my prom night, I just walked into the store and out, and I was perfect. It smelled great.
You forewent the curve. And then, you didn't need the Polo Sport. You just kind of wafted in the Abercrombie smell.
Yeah, exactly. Nice, and nowadays, if you're a kid in high school, I'm sure you just go to the store and then you come out looking like the situation and smelling like Abercrombie. I don't know if the girls like that nowadays. That must be what's in.
Well, you pass the stores and they always have that half-naked guy. They used to just have the pictures of the half-naked guy, with his head chopped off. All you would see were rock-hard abs. But now they'll have a model, what they call a promotional model, sitting in the store half naked. What kind of message is that, Abercrombie?
Well, usually any of those guys are a tool and they live their whole life on Facebook. I have a couple of friends with random of you guys out there, but your guys' whole life is I modeled at an Abercrombie and Fitch, and I had my friend come and take cell phone pictures of me.
Yeah, just because you have some Facebook pics of you standing in front of Abercrombie with your shirt off does not a model make.
No. Well, Kim Kardashian, I gotta say, why have we talked about her on the last 4 shows? But you know what?
She's everywhere.
She's the queen of getting into the press. Long story short, looks like, Vivid Entertainment owns her sex tape with Ray J. They're wanting to sell it for $30 million. Do you think this tape is worth $30 million?
I don't think the tape is worth $30 million. I mean, the article made an interesting point. I mean, are people even really watching the DVDs? No, I don't think they are. I think they're downloading it illegally and watching free porn on the internet. I think
it's free,
the Kim Kardashian sex tape has come and gone. I mean, is it really that relevant anymore for $30 million? I have weird kind of opinion about this. I think her and Ray J put it out there. I think this is really what catapulted her into fame, just kind of like the Paris Hilton. Apparently, if you have no talent and you want to be a reality star, you just put a sex tape out there.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. And you got to do it, like Ray J says, you got to get, I guess there's a video on him on TMZ saying you got to get all drunk too to go do it.
And he said on drugs, which by the way, David called.
I predicted it.
He predicted, he's like, I don't think that they were sober. I think that they were all messed up on drugs and whatever. I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I caught like 30 seconds of it and I was just like nauseous and I couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, this is just retarded.
No, it really is a joke. Honestly,
Yeah.
This whole deal, I guess there's a website, a porn website, trying to buy it for $5 million and buy all the rights to it where they'll put it up on the internet for free. That's a slap in the face, Kim.
They just want to put it up there. And they were saying there was a lot of speculation that Kim was the actual buyer. And now they're coming out saying, no, Kim didn't want to buy it. Then I was like, maybe Chris Humphries is trying to buy it. Because I heard that he's a little jealous. But then I was like, yeah, I don't really think he has the money to buy it.
They ran into each other on a plane. Like Chris Humphries went on a plane. And guess what? On the plane was Ray J. And you and I saw Ray J when we did Reality Rocks.
Yeah, talk about egomaniac.
Oh my
gosh. Be honest.
We're kicking it at Reality Rocks. Erica and I were like speakers, panelists there, and we did a couple appearances there at the Reality Rocks Expo. It's like a reality TV convention. Long story short, guess who's in the VIP lounge area walking around like with, basically his balls out, like thinking he's just so cool? Ray J, the biggest dork I've ever seen.
He's a little guy. I have to say he's a little guy.
Yeah, he's shrimp.
Kim Kardashian's a big girl. She's got a lot of curves. She's beautiful, but she's a big girl. I would think that she would crush him.
Yeah, no.
Because he was a little guy, and he kind of looked like a little mouse, and he was rolling deep with like an entourage of 30 people.
Weird.
What was that about?
Honestly, and everybody that was in his crew looked like they were either high school friends or they were just the biggest losers in the world that thought it was cool to follow Ray J around.
I think it was high school friends, and I was kind of like, really, Ray J? Like, no one cares.
No, there was a guy in the back going like, yo, I saw his tape, 15 times with Kim, dog. I watch it stuff every morning.
He was trying to like make waves, and the funny thing is we were actually like not in the main section of Reality Rocks when we actually saw him, and when he was putting on this big show. We were with like the other talent and the other reality show members. We were kind of like in this little sitting like lounge area that they had set up. It was really nice. They had hors d'oeuvres, they had some wine. It was a fabulous setup.
Well, it was one drink at a time though.
Yes, well, maybe just because somebody was underage. But, and he comes rolling through 30 deep with his entourage, like making this big scene. And I'm like,
and there was a guy.
No one cares.
There was a guy saying he saw the tape a bunch of times.
Yeah, that was just weird. Honestly, I think I just tried to tune that out because I thought it was that ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, and well, then it was us, and then it was all the Bachelor people. Remember that? It was kind of weird because we were on the same network, Bachelor and Bachelorette, and it's like all the Bachelorette people, and then Erica and I, the True Beauty crowd, in the corner drinking our drinks with it got the total like ABC stare.
Yeah, it was like the ABC stare down. Well, it's funny because David and I went in, we were panelists, like no ego. There's a lot of reality stars running around with big egos. Everyone thought, well, not everyone, but there were some specific people that really kind of thought that they were too cool for school. David and I were just kind of sitting down, and I'm like a people watcher, I like to sit back and see like who's talking to who and what's going on. So David and I were just kind of like eating our little pigs in a blanket. We were eating our free hors d'oeuvres, drinking my Chardonnay, and watching everything that went on. And I have to say though, I think out of everyone that was there, Ray J, his ego filled the room. Yeah, he had the biggest ego for sure.
Honestly, it was crazy. If you really he's just such a weirdo. I mean, but you gotta look at weirdos, right? Jessica Simpson has some random dude out there she's never met who wrote a book about her.
Yeah, speaking of weirdos, apparently there is a book out there written about Jessica Simpson and this love affair that Jessica Simpson allegedly had with a married man. Now, here's the thing. Jessica Simpson never met the guy. There's some crazy out there who wrote a 30-page book, a tell-all book about Jessica Simpson affair, but he never actually had an affair with Jessica Simpson.
I know.
He's crazy. And you have to hear the title of this book, folks. Now, when I read this title, you're going to kind of get a good idea of how crazy this man is. Now, this isn't the narration. This isn't when you open up the book and you look on the little inside cover of it,
It's
you know,
the title,
and
right?
the main description. This is the actual title of the book.
Do it up.
Ahem.
Oh, wait. Yeah, get done with it.
It's called The True Story of Jessica Ann Simpson, 22-month-long attempt to seduce a married man, her active super-secret sex life, True Story, Jessica Simpson, Seduction of a Married Man, Volume 1. Now, I cannot believe that this crazy McCrazy wrote this book, then that's the title. Like, what are you thinking, guy? Was he just trying to think of all the tag words that he could possibly put in Google to make it come up so people actually buy it? And the worst part is Amazon is actually selling it for $29.95.
This guy's a genius. I got to give this guy some credit, man, you know? I got to give him some credit because it's like, you know what? You got to make something out of nothing nowadays. And this guy is taking his little weird fantasy, even though I think it's a little creepy.
It's creepy.
But I give the guy credit for writing the book, putting it out there, getting it approved. And you know what? It made it all the way to Beauty and the Grumble talking about it. You made an impact, buddy.
Big time,
and,
right?
I got to give this guy some credit, dude. This guy's keeping it hard. And what's so funny is Jessica Simpson's now about to get married, you know, and honestly, a lot of relationship experts, even I predict, I don't think it's going to last long with Jessica Simpson and her new guy. He's kind of just riding along the ride of her, like, nice empire.
Well, she's doing very
you know?
well. Although you don't hear of her in the press right now, I mean,
She's
she
killing
really
it.
does have an empire. She's making bank. I mean, between the shoes, between the bags, between her clothing line, I believe she's coming out with a jewelry line now. She has her fragrances, and we all know celebrity fragrances do, I mean, buku well. They make so much money.
Yeah.
And now, you know, I don't think she even really cares about this creepy guy. Supposedly her security has like this personality profile on him. Everything's documented. He's been chasing this, you know, Jessica Simpson around for years. He found her phone. He was calling her, leaving her messages. She needed to change her number. And now he's written this tell-all book and he's never even met her. Now, when people were like, guy, like, what are you doing? Why are you writing this book? You never met Jessica. His response was, you know, I needed to write this book to heal because her heartless and cruel treatment of me has just put me into emotional distress.
Wow, this guy's awesome. He's using a great scapegoat and he's making money off it. So he's healing by making a crap load of money.
He claims he's healing. I don't think there's any healing
How
for
much
him.
is the book going for?
$29.95.
Oh my gosh,
himself.
I like this guy even more.
He needs to heal himself right into a mental institution. This guy is crazy pants. You know, and this was interesting. This brought up actually an interesting topic that I want to ask you. Speaking of psycho stalkers, you know, being a female, there's a lot of crazies out there, and I wanted to talk about the definition between, you know, psycho and romantic. Have you ever had a stalker? Being a man, like, and say something like this happened to you, that you had a woman who was stalking you. What would you do in that situation, David?
Well, stalkers are kind of, you know, weird. I mean, you know,
like a creepy one, though.
Well,
What if you
I
felt
don't
a
know.
little...
I'm really good at, like, you know, I'll blow the house down. If you're going to be creeping in my life, you're done. I'm not afraid. I'm a man, though. So it's like, you know, if I had some creepy, I'm not afraid to, like, get in their face and tell them that basically they're psycho. Like I told Liz, you know, on True Beauty, like, I will tell you straight up to your face, you're psycho. But I mean...
See, with me being a woman, I feel like, okay, you're a guy and you can just, you know, yell and be like, get the hell out of here and cut him off.
Yo.
You feel threatened. You know, and honestly, being a man, you probably don't feel threatened. Now, being a woman, with me, I feel like you kind of need to, like, almost be able to diplomatically diffuse a situation.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you could get hurt or they could be really crazy or, you know, you have to be worried about crossing the line. I have a specific instance. And now this happened years ago, but at my job, I had this crazy pants who was coming to my job. And they, you know, kicked him out. He wasn't allowed in. Then he was writing me letters. He was sending these weird gifts to my job. He sent his, and mind you, it wasn't like some guy who was young. He was an older man who clearly, like, well, why are you trying to talk to me in the first place? I made it very clear, and not even in a diplomatic way because he really crossed the line. I made it very clear that I did not want this person contacting me. He left things on my car. There was a point in time where I actually felt very scared for my safety.
What's his name again? Isn't he from Norway? What was his name?
Oh, no, that was another one. Yes, I had
I'm wrong on
little
all
fan.
these, stalkers my girlfriend has.
There's so many. No, I called him Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
I wouldn't like to actually,
And then he hit you up on Facebook, and then I hit the fool up, and I tore the fool a new one.
I know. He hit me up on Facebook, and now this has been going on for years, and like I said, I made it very clear. Then he followed me to another job, and he threatened me, and he's crazy. There were times when I was working, and I would see him outside looking at me through the window. Like, this was really, I was scared. There was a point where I was scared.
There was a guy who flew from Norway to come see you, right?
But being a female, unfortunately,
I think that's crazier than anything else you just said.
Yeah, but I felt threatened by the other guy. The Norway guy was just a nice man who happened to fly around the world because he was a fan, which I kind of felt, I was a little scared at first, I'm not going to lie, but then I kind of felt flattered. But this guy just crossed the line. What would you do in that situation? You would just basically tear him a new one?
Yeah, I would tear him a new one. Anybody that messes with you, I'm going to tear a new one. But, I've had a couple stalkers,
Yeah.
One
female
girl,
stalkers?
Well, yeah, one of them was my ex-girlfriend, She saw
Let's
me.
hear about it.
Well, I was on MTV, and I was on Next and Parental Control at the same time, and I was on one show as Dave. This is how crazy this story is. I was on one show as Dave, and I was on the other show as Palmer. So she put 2 and 2 together after seeing me on both shows and said, that's the same guy, and looked up on MySpace at the time, Dave Palmer.
She's sneaky.
And she looked up Huntington Beach because I said I was living in Huntington Beach at the time, and then she hit me up, and then we ended up
dating for a very long time.
Yes.
See, that's the difference between men and women, though. That women find stalkers and kind of creepers like offensive and threatening, and men think it's like flattering, and they go off and they date her and they move in with her. That's the difference, I guess.
We talked for like 6 months, and then she came down, and then we went out.
You dated her.
Yeah, I dated her.
You liked it. It was like an ego thing. I guess for men, it's like an ego thing.
I thought it was cool. This was what, 2007. When so what? That's like 25 years ago, right?
Fairy tales. Well, I think that's the difference.
Well, hey, this kind of goes with this Bam Margera story. Bam Margera just dealt with this taxi cab thing, right? Did you hear about it?
I did.
Supposedly, the taxi driver in New York yelled out the window to a random girl in the street that she was a slut.
Called her the S word.
And then he came and punched the guy out, basically done all this stuff in the car, and then they almost got arrested for it.
How chivalrous of Bam.
No, I know.
If you don't know, he's Bam Margera is like of MTV fame. He was on the show Jackass, and I believe MTV gave him a new show. So he's kind of known for like explosive behavior, pulling pranks. He definitely is like that no holds barred type of guy, very extreme sports. He's a skateboarder. Well, apparently, some taxi driver and who really knows if this is the case, but called his female friend a floozy. He used the S word.
Floozy.
And Bam jumped through the taxi window and tried to beat him up. Now, the cops were called, and, there were no arrests because they couldn't basically figure out whose fault it was. Yeah. So, in that situation, I'm never an advocate of violence, but it might have been a little chivalrous that Bam stuck up for his female friend. Well, here's hoping that he could have gone about it a more mature and appropriate way. He should be punching people. Could have said, leave her alone, whatever. At least he was sticking up for her, but, don't, you don't have to go to throwing elbows and throwing fists.
Well, what about, our boy, Terrence Howard, right? He's
another...
sticking up for his wife, right?
Yes.
And we actually got audio for this.
Yes, we do. Now, Terrence Howard is an actor, and just came out that he has basically left this crazy, crazy message to to a basic stranger. He found out someone was hitting up his wife. It turned out, in the end, it was a prank call, but he threatened this man who was allegedly calling his wife. What's with these celebrities and their bad temper and their anger management problems?
Well, let's listen to the tape.
Hey, this is Terrence. You've been calling my wife. Michelle. call my wife again, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to cut your fucking throat. Understand that. I'm going to tell you this one time. You call my wife again, I'm going to kill you.
I mean, as soon as you hear his voice, you know that it's Terrence Howard from the movie Hustle and Flow.
Oh,
He
and a
sounds
bunch
a
of
little
other movies.
tipsy.
Yeah.
He sounds a little tipsy in there. But I mean, he threatened the man's life.
Well, honestly,
He used the
you
N-word?
You talking to my wife, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, but it's actually against the law to do that, David.
Oh, right.
You know?
Well-
and the crazy thing is, he went all crazy on this person's voicemail. You know,
It wasn't even.
And it wasn't even
I know,
real.
I know.
Apparently,
Poor
his
dude.
wife's friend was trying to pull a prank on his wife and called. You know, his wife from another phone, happened to be some guy's phone, and left this crazy message on there. And Terrence Howard got it all twisted, and then he threatened him.
Well, I agree with him on the fact if it was a legitimate person trying to contact his wife, okay, if it really was, and if it maybe
Like for dating or a stalker or threatening?
Both. You
Both.
kind of, as a man, you know, like this is the way that the jungle works. The man, you know, once he's got his woman, he. You know, like the lion. I'm a lion. I'm a Leo, right? So I pee around the territory so you don't come in.
So
First
have
of
you
all,
peed around my territory, David?
Every night when you're asleep, I've been blaming it on Manny's, our
Yeah.
little boy dog,
See-
but I've been peeing all over the bed.
See, David blames it on poor little Manny's, our little